Hey, Ty here, so welcome to the VR Tech channel. Sorry for the mess, but I still have to reorganize the studio after the Saturday video. If you didn't check it out yet, well, it's gonna be over here. But anyway, in this video, we're gonna talk about the Oculus Rift S. Why? Because they actually cut the price of $100. So right now, instead of being $399 like it was for the last year and almost half, well, it's gonna be $299, so the same price of the Oculus Quest 2. So in this video, I'm gonna go through the pros and cons of these headsets to understand if it's actually still worth it in 2020 or 2021, if you should still consider it, even in light of what is gonna happen next year. So, well, let's get into it. Alright, here we are. So what is the Oculus Rift S? Well, this is the latest and last PC VR headset directly from Oculus. They started with the Rift, of course, and then they did the Rift S that was more like a revision than a full upgrade. And then they moved to the Oculus Quest, the Oculus Quest 2, after seeing the very strong response on the standalone market, instead of just focusing on the PC VR market. So there are a lot of questions about the Oculus Rift S, because we know for sure that next year is going to be discontinued. So that makes it already a little difficult to actually suggest it. But on the same time, well, $100 price cut is a big price cut for what was one of the best PC VR headsets on the market. Not actually for the hardware in this case, but for other different reasons. But now let's talk about what's particular about the Oculus Rift S. Well, this is the one with the best inside-out tracking on the market, because it doesn't have just 2 cameras, doesn't have just 4 cameras, but actually has 5 cameras with one on the top. So it's gonna be to understand pretty much every movement that you do. And this kind of polish is something that we miss a little on Windows Mixed Reality, for example. So this positioning on the camera makes it possible to play games like bow and arrow games, or even sport games like Eco Arena without many problems. It's reliable enough to be able to enjoy all those games flawlessly. And another strong factor with the Oculus Rift S were actually the controllers. They are the Oculus controllers that we grew to love. Of course, the type of controllers that became actually the standard in VR. So every other manufacturer then started to kind of copy and taking inspiration from the Oculus controller, because they were just the best, the easier to use. Also, a little perk being the same controller of the Oculus Quest. Well, that means that all the accessories made for the Oculus Quest will work also with the Oculus Rift S, at least for the controllers. So you want the Mammoth grip, well, you can have it. You want different gun stocks, well, they're all available and they all work, because at the end of the day, this is one of the most used PC VR headset on the market. So yeah, a lot of accessories were made for it. Now, one of the strongest features of the Oculus Rift S was actually the comfort. These headsets, by the way, is not made directly from Oculus, but is made by Lenovo. And fun fact, Lenovo can use the patent for the PSVR strap, and we know that is one of the best on the VR market. So well, over here you have pretty much exactly the same. They use the PSVR strap on their headset, so yeah, the comfort is really great. And now going a little on the cons for this headset, well, is this light, because it kind of always felt a little cheap. The plastic is very light, so well, it doesn't look and doesn't feel like the best headset on the market. But we have to say that it was always targeted to be like a more inexpensive buying for VR headsets, and so well, they kind of cut the cost kind of everywhere to make this possible. So yes, as we said, the build quality is not the best. It's kind of a weird sounds moving it, but when you wear it, well, you don't hear them anymore. And what you don't hear actually is a good audio, because it has these little and tiny speakers on the Halo style that are probably the worst implementation that we ever saw in VR. If you want to get something like this, just keep in mind that you're gonna need for sure headphones. I actually got with those the Surface headphones that were in offer for $150 in noise cancelling territory, and I was like, whoa. For VR, it's pretty good, because it isolates you completely from the external world. For immersion, it's amazing. But yeah, any kind of headphones will do anyway, because it has a headphone jack, so you will be fine. And now we have to talk about the other 2 big cons. One is the IPD adjustment, because this headset doesn't have any IPD adjustment. Physical, at least. It just has software IPD adjustment. I'm 66.4, so I was always fine. If you're 64, you're perfect. If you're like 68, you're still fine. But yeah, don't go too far from the center of what you consider a mid-1 here, because, well, it started to be uncomfortable and not really usable. And at the same time, this uses a single LCD display with a resolution 2880 by 1440. So a pretty good resolution because it's an RGB pixel arrangement display. But having one display, as we saw in the Oculus Quest 2, for example, the FOV will remain a little limited. And you're going to start to see really the lines on the side that is like the limit of the screen. So don't expect a big FOV over here. Yes, you can make your headset getting close and further away from your eyes. That's good also for glasses wearing people. But yeah, FOV will be limited on this headset, so don't consider it for like wide FOV and stuff like that. So overall, what is the strong part of this headset? Why you should still consider anyway in some cases? Well, the strong part here is actually the software. The Oculus software is very, very well optimized, so that means that everything is gonna run flawlessly over here. One, because you have a lower resolution panel, of course, so everything is much easier to run. And if you compare it, for example, with the Oculus Quest 2, the $299 headset is the same price right now. In this moment, well, the Oculus Quest 2, anyway, you need or to buy virtual desktop, to have it wireless, or you need at the same time like a link cable that can cost like $30, $40 and stuff. The official cable is $80, $90, so like even much higher. And this doesn't need any decoding and encoding from the graphic cards and such, so you don't need much specs as much as the Oculus Quest 2 when you run PC VR games. And that's actually the reason why I'm still using it sometimes. If I have some games that don't really meet that threshold for refresh rate that I want, well, the Oculus Rift S, I know that it's going to deliver because it runs at 80 Hz. So, of course, it needs less power from the graphic card. And at the same time, well, the software is much, much easier and it just works. And that's what makes these headsets still great right now. Now, on light of what is going to happen next year, this guy is going to be discontinued. So it's kind of a shame on the side that Oculus is getting completely out of the PC VR market, just focusing on standalone headsets. But we saw that standalone headsets are actually selling much, much more than PC VR headsets. So things that you have to consider is that this headset never had like real software updates in a year and a half that is out on the market, and it's not going to receive any new updates in a year and a half after. So you get what you get for $299. You buy this, you know what it is, and you know that nothing more is going to arrive. And tracking is not going to arrive for sure because it didn't arrive till right now. And you just have to know that Oculus is going to focus everything right now on the Oculus Quest platform and not anymore on the PC VR platform. So we saw games, yes, like Medal of Honor arriving, like Asgard Wrath, like Stormland. We're gonna see hopefully soon Lone Echo 2 arriving to the platform. Well, this is gonna be limited, and you have to spec game graphic that is more focused toward a mobile chipset environment like the Oculus Quest than really for PC VR, as we saw, for example, with Population 1. Of course, the great thing is you still have the option to use Steam VR that has the most games over there. And this is one of the best headsets for Steam VR as well, because we said the software is very, very light. So everything's going to run very, very well. So if you don't have a super powerful PC, well, the Oculus Rift S is still a great option because you can play pretty much every PC VR game on the market in the best way possible. Yes, you don't have the best resolution that we have with the G2. Yes, you don't have the best features that you have with the Index. Yes, you're not going to get any update like the Oculus Quest 2, but I think that it still, right now, has its own purpose. And yes, they're probably putting the price down of $100 because they want to clear all the stock that they have, but this is going to still work in the future. The support is going to be less and less from Oculus, but you still have Steam VR, and that is going to always work for sure. So if you're looking for a cheap headset to play PC VR games, well, this can be still the best option because the Oculus Quest 2, yes, is cheap, yes, has more features, but at the same time requires much more power from the graphic card, much more power from the computer. Anyway, so, well, it's kind of harder to run the same games with the same quality that you have over here. That is something that you have, of course, to consider. And that's why it still creates a niche, still creates a reason why you could actually buy this and be happy with this. And maybe in the future it's going to be even a collector thing because it was the last PC VR headset from Oculus. This is very, very sad because I really wanted to see them pushing forward in technology with the Rift platform. But, well, it seems like the money win, like always. Anyway, guys, that was all. Let me know what you think about it in the comment below. Are you still considering the Oculus Rift S? Do you still think that it's something that you can suggest to people? Because I think so, under some circumstances, and I think it is still a good headset. I still use it anyway in some cases, so yes, I feel confident to actually suggest it to some people that are just looking for PC VR and they want to play all their Steam VR games and stuff like that, even in the future, with the lowest requirements possible from their PC. But anyway, guys, again, let me know what you think about it in the comment below. Would you get the Oculus Quest 2 or this one if you are just for PC VR? And as always, if you liked the video, that was my phone. If you didn't like the video, dislike. Subscribe for the channel for more of VR tech. And if you really love the channel, there's the join button down there. Little down further, also the Patreon, prior access to videos. And at the same time, we have a t-shirt, sticker, and mask, 2020 item number 1. Again, like, dislike, subscribe. See you guys next video. Thanks for watching.